welcome back. Maybe by now you have seen my library setup video, maybe not, because it's got a lot of footage and I may do these easier to edit videos first. I don't know, but if you have not, you will be seeing that soon. Anyways, point of that is that I decided to make this one shelf my books for this month shelf, because I was like, I'm gonna forget what I bought unless I keep those books together, which is true. I know that's gonna happen. But I thought that I would really quickly go through the books that I bought last month, and then I would show you me trying to find where they need to go on the shelves. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So I have a pretty good bit of books from the Aardvark subscription box, because I got the April box, but I got it towards the end of April, so I didn't actually get it until it was May. And then of course I got my May box in May. So I do have 4 books that I got from Aardvark, and I'm going to show you those first. Also, I didn't charge my lights, and I accidentally left them on all day the other day, and so now they're dead. My bad. A table. Okay. So one book that I got was The Pretender, and this is a historical fiction, I believe. Not usually my jam. This is supposed to be the story of Lambert Simnel, who is believed to be the true heir to the throne occupied by Henry VII, raised in obscurity as a peasant boy to protect his safety, and briefly crowned at the age of 13 as King Edward VI. So I thought I would try something different. Apparently I was in a historical fiction, historical fantasy mood, because I think most of these ended up being historical fiction. I also got Upon a Starlit Tide, and it is a dark and enchanting historical fantasy combining elements of The Little Mermaid and Cinderella into a wholly original tale of love, power, and betrayal. So this is set in France in 1758, and it's got mermaids in it. So that sounded interesting. I also got The Bright Sword, which is a reimagining of the King Arthur legend for the new millennium. I do like a good King Arthur story. The Sword in the Stone is perfection. So I'm gonna try that one. And then you're probably gonna laugh at this if you have not seen my very first book tour of touring my books when I was at the other house. At one point I showed you guys The Tainted Cup, and I told you that I had given it 3 stars, and it was kind of weird, and I didn't know if I liked it, and I didn't know if I would read the next book. So I got the next book. Okay, but here's my theory about it. So first of all, hold on. I just have to tell you that it is the special edition hardcover or whatever. It's got the foil cover. So it is a very pretty book. These are gorgeous books. Okay, but here's my theory about maybe why I didn't like it as much. I read that during the time that I was reading through the Cosmere, and I kind of feel like there were probably some books that normally I would have been oh, this is kind of interesting, but I was I gotta get finished with this so that I can get to the next Cosmere book. Hold that thought, the baby's up. I'll be right back. So anyways, I got it because I'm I guess I could give this world another try. And it's kind of in that vein of cozy mystery that I should like, because it's detectives solving crimes. So I'm gonna give the second book another go. Plus, I used a code and I got the first book for like $4. And this was like the book I got for $4. So if I end up not liking it, it's not that big of a deal. Next up, let's look at what I got from Book of the Month last month. So the like actual pick that I got was Silver Elite. And I'm like really interested to read this now because this is one of those that I think is getting a lot of like mixed reviews. I don't know how this one's gonna go, but that's the one that I chose because, okay, I'm almost always gonna choose fantasy. If there's not a fantasy book, sometimes I skip. Most of the time I skip. So they had a fantasy. It has pretty sprayed edges, so I got that one. I also got Piranesi, which is one that's been on my radar for a while. I actually started this one, again, using my dust jacket as a bookmark. I am mostly, I'd say about 60, I say mostly and then 60, which is not mostly, but about 60% of the way through this. So, I am currently reading that one. And then I also got Water Moon. And I almost didn't get it through Book of the Month because, like if you get like the regular hardcover, it has the cover that you can like fold it and do like the origami with it. Not that I probably would have done it, but I thought it would be pretty. At least it would have been. I may get another copy of this one just so that I don't know, maybe not. Anyways, I got Water Moon. Oh wait, and I was supposed to be telling you what these are about. And this one, it says a treasury officer has disappeared into thin air, vanishing from a room within a heavily guarded tower, its door and windows locked from the inside. So, yeah, they are investigating not a disappearance, but a murder, and one of surpassing cunning carried out by an opponent who can pass through warded doors like a ghost. So, anyways, it does sound interesting, so I'm going to give this one a try. So, this is the first book of a sizzling dystopian romance series. And it says, psychic gifts are a death sentence and there are rules to survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. So obviously we know what's going to happen there. She spent her whole life in hiding, honing her psychic abilities, and aiding the rebel uprising in small ways. Being modified means certain death, and she's one of the most powerful mods in existence. One careless mistake places her in the hands of the enemy. She's forced to join Silver Block, the most elite training program. She's finally handed the opportunity to strike a devastating blow from inside their ranks. Ren must prove herself, but that's easier said than done when your commanding officer is a ruthless and infuriatingly irresistible Cross Redden, who doesn't miss anything when it comes to her. And as war rages between the mods like her and those who aim to destroy them, Ren must decide just how far she's willing to go to protect herself and how much of the continent is worth saving. We'll see. So, Piranesi is about this person. It never actually really, at this point where I am, describes the main character Piranesi, but he lives in this house, and like there's an infinite number of rooms, and in the rooms there are like all of these statues, but also it's almost like the house is in ruins in some places. So like in some places the floors or the ceiling or whatever has like collapsed, and then the sea is on the lower floors. So like he has to keep track of like the tides and things like that, so that he's not in a spot where the tide's going to come in or things like that. And there is one other person alive in the house, and he calls him the Other. And there are like skeletons there, so he knows that other people did exist in this world, but altogether, as far as he knows, there's only 15 people in existence, and this house is his like whole world, like where he lives. There is no like outside of the house. The house is it. And as the story goes on, he starts discovering some things about his world and about the person that he knows as the other. I think that it's really interesting, and it's so well written because it can be a little bit confusing at first, because you're like, you know, like, what's going on here? But as he's learning the clues, you start to understand what's going on, but he doesn't. However, there's still a lot of mystery, at least at this point where I am at 60% of the way through, of things that you don't know. You're like, you start to learn about the world and you understand like some of these other people, but you still are not quite sure about Piranesi and who he is and how he came to be in this house where only one other person exists, one living person exists. So I really love this so far. So this is definitely a 4 or 5 star. I haven't decided yet. And then I got Watermoon. So in Watermoon, there is a pawn shop where you can go to sell your regrets. And the girl takes it over for her father, I think. Who's her father? Yes, her father. Her father's missing. And so a stranger ends up coming into the shop and offers help. And so they are going to go and try to find her father. And I've heard that this is pretty good. It's like a cozier fantasy, which I really like. So hopefully I like that one. This is my buddy read with Alana for this month, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. I am about 60% of the way through this one as well, and this is really good. So I will be finishing that this month. So this is a book that I grabbed from Walmart. I had to go get something for my husband. I hate going to Walmart. I don't know about you guys, but I was like, I'm going to go check out the books to make this trip worth it. And this is called The Blood of Hercules. I've seen this one kind of making its rounds through like Book Talk, BookTube, that kind of thing. It has really pretty sprayed edges. I'm struggling to survive in a Titan-infested world where Spartans, immortals from 12 royal families who have godlike powers and obscene wealth, rule over all. A shy, stammering foster child with nothing, I keep my head down, cover my scars, and focus on excellence in school. At least I try to. Then it happens. My blood test reveals I'm part of the powerful elite, one of them, a Spartan. Forced to attend the Spartan War Academy, I undergo the most harrowing test of all time to see if I have what it takes to be an immortal. There's just a few problems. Achilles and Petro are my scary mentors. Charon, the ferryman of death, Charon, and Augustus, the son of war, are my terrifying professors. Also, I'm pretty sure either someone's stalking me everywhere I go or my sanity's slipping. I have a bad feeling both are true. So I think this is like a reverse harem situation, which, you know, if you're into that kind of thing, I guess I'll let you know how it goes. Also from Walmart, I got this one. This is the Underwild River of Spirits, and it says special first edition, and the baby's getting fuzzy. Oh my goodness. So really pretty. This one, it says Cinca lives between the realm of the living and the realm of the dead. As ward to Charon, the ferryman of the underworld, Cinca assists in guiding recently departed souls across the river and into their afterlife. A living girl, Poppy, enters the underworld to plead for help in finding the ghost of her brother, but helping Poppy goes against the rules. When Poppy is yanked away by the river's current, Cinca leaps to save her, and they are swept downriver into the unmapped depths of the underworld, far from everything Cinca has ever known. Lost in the Underwild, Cinca and Poppy encounter spirits of the Underwild, not the Underworld. Underwild. Cinca and Poppy encounter spirits of lore and eccentric ghosts, and not all are willing to let souls slip through their grasp. Cinca knows the living can't stay in the realm of the dead for long, and if Poppy isn't returned home soon, she'll become lost to the underworld forever. But as Cinca travels deeper into the underworld, she discovers blah, 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 secrets, answers to the mystery of her own existence. So, yeah. Anyways, I love a good mythology retelling, and I picked up 2 of them. So, we'll see how that goes. Okay, I think the baby's hungry, so let me go give him a bottle, and I'll be right back. Okay, so baby is fed and changed, and now he's watching Matilda, so maybe you can hear that in the background, I don't know. The rest of these I got from Amazon. So I got a Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. I got it last month. I read it last month. This one is about a 14-year-old girl who can do magic, but her magic only works on like bread or bread-related things. And one morning she discovers a dead body, and she ends up finding out who's responsible for that. And then after that, she ends up basically saving the entire town from the bad guys. So that's that one. This is book 6 in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. This one is The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. So they end up on the 8th floor, and this one so far to me has like the most interesting premise for a level of the dungeon. So it's set up in phases, and in phase 1 they go around and they are like hunting monsters to turn into cards, because the floor this time is set up like a card game, like, you know, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, like those types of games where you have like your cards and you like battle with them. So I thought that was really interesting. Also, you are starting to get a lot more of like the political behind the scenes type stuff in this book, because Carl and Donut have kind of become a part of that. Going into the next book where they're going to have faction wars, Carl and Donut are going to actually be one of those factions going forward. So they're kind of starting to be able to get into some of the behind the scenes type stuff. And there are a lot of different things going on at the same time. So, I actually already finished this one this month, so this will be in my wrap up, and I'll tell you more about it then. I got a Curse Carved in Bone. I pre-ordered this. It's got pretty red metallic sprayed edges. The first book, A Fate Inked in Blood, leaves you on quite the cliffhanger, so I am really excited to get into this one. So I don't want to tell you too much because it is a sequel, and I don't want to give away the first one, but we're following Freya, and in the first one she is discovered to be a shield maiden, and there's like this prophecy surrounding her, so she ends up being forced into this marriage because of this prophecy, and she's basically trying to make her own destiny instead of all of these things constantly being forced on her and her not having any control of her own life. She's trying to circumvent that, and she's also trying to save her kingdom because they are, you know, basically at war. So the story is going to continue in this book. Like I said, I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want to get spoilers. I also got a Natural History of Dragons. I've heard a lot of good things about this one, especially if you liked like the Emily Wilde books, or like the Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love, like that type of like cozy academia fantasy. I've heard this is a good one. All the world, from Skirland to the farthest reaches of Uriga, knows Isabella Lady Trent to be the world's preeminent dragon naturalist. She is the remarkable woman who brought the study of dragons out of the misty shadows of myth and misunderstanding into the clear light of modern science. But before she became the illustrious figure we know today, there was a bookish young woman whose passion for learning natural history and, yes, dragons, defied the stifling conventions of her day. Here at last, in her own words, is the true story of a pioneering spirit who risked her reputation, her prospects, and her fragile flesh and bone to satisfy her scientific curiosity, of how she sought true love and happiness despite her lamentable eccentricities, and of her thrilling expedition to the perilous mountains of Vestrana, where she made the first of many historic discoveries that would change the world forever. So, I think that sounds good. And finally, I have Skyward, Starsight, and Cytonic. I actually also bought Defiant, the 4th book, but I already had it. So I have it set aside to return if I don't get it back to UPS in time, though. I guess I'll just donate it. I don't know. But anyways, these are the first 3 books in the Skyward series. Spence's world has been under attack for decades. Now pilots are the heroes of what's left of the human race, and becoming one has always been Spence's dream. Since she was a little girl, she has imagined soaring skyward and proving her bravery. But her fate is intertwined with her father's, a pilot himself, who was killed years ago when he abruptly deserted his team, leaving Spencer the daughter of a coward, her chances of attending flight school slim to none. No one will let Spencer forget what her father did, yet fate works in mysterious ways. Flight school might be a long shot, but she is determined to fly, and an accidental discovery in a long-forgotten cavern might just provide her with a way to claim the stars. So, can't wait to read that. So, let's get it all onto the shelves. Let's see if this will fit. Oh, perfect. Okay, there we go. So, maybe, we're just gonna put it right there for now. Okay. And go beside the Fate, Ink, and Blood. These 2. These are 3 books. Sprayed edges, so my dragon's gonna have to go somewhere else. I guess I could put the dragon down here. Okay, so here's, I think that's all of the sprayed edges I currently have. Let's see what else we got. I guess right here would work. Yeah, I don't want a cat. That's just match the vibe, I guess. Alright, there we go. I have the Bedlam Bride. Is gonna go right here on my Dungeon Crawler Coral shelf. I'll pull it back out when I do my wrap up at the end of the month. Okay, I think I'm gonna stick it right here. Smooth those down. Right there. Alright, a drop of corruption has to go with the tainted cup down here. Oopsie. A little birdie. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars is gonna go right here. Piranesi is going to go here with my other picks. Now all three of these goes down here. I'm just gonna go right there for now. Anyways, that is everything that I got during the month of May. It is on the shelves. I will see you again hopefully by the end of the month, maybe at least hopefully not halfway through July, to do the same thing for June, because I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books to add to the shelf. That will be 7. I got another one floating around here somewhere, but anyways, that is it for now. I will see you again soon. Bye.